How to decorate your home with vintage books. Vintage books can serve as a beautiful and classic decoration for your home. They fit into a variety of decor styles, from coastal to French country to farmhouse. Whether you leave them the way they are and display them on bookshelves, or repurpose them into something else entirely, there are many ways to decorate your space with old books. Finding vintage and old-looking books. Set a budget. Vintage books can be expensive. Determine how much you want to spend and how you want to use the books you're buying. If you're going to deconstruct them, it's better to buy cheap hardcovers than to spend more on authentic vintage books. Search flea markets and thrift stores. Visit flea markets and thrift stores in your area to look for old books with cloth or leather covers. Search for thrift stores in nicer parts of town since these will typically have more vintage items. To find shops, type thrift stores near me into your favorite search engine. While browsing the store, look for books that appear to be a matching set, or just find random ones to create a more eclectic look. Browse eBay for old books. Auction sites like eBay are a good place to find old books that people want to get rid of. Try searching with the phrase vintage books or set of old books to find books that are decor worthy. Verify that the seller will take care to ship them to you in waterproof packaging. Remove dust jackets from hardcover books. Most books will instantly look older and more classic if you remove the dust jacket. If you don't want to spend the money on vintage books, visit a used bookstore to find cheap hardcover books. Check behind the dust jacket before you leave the store just to be sure you like the appearance and color of the book underneath. Use books you already own. If you have any hardcover books at home, check under the dust jacket to see if you like the way the cloth cover looks. Even if you only have paperbacks, you can still remove the cover and use the bound or unbound pages to decorate your home. Age new books by soaking them in coffee. If you want the aged book look without spending any money, find a book you don't mind deconstructing. Remove the cover and soak the pages in a bowl or bucket of brewed coffee for a couple hours. Hang the book to dry in the sun, then display it once it's dry. Placing books around your home. Stack books vertically and horizontally. Books don't all have to be lined up horizontally along a shelf. Create a vertical stack of 2 or 3 books and place it beside your lined-up books to create some variation along the shelf. The vertical stacks can also serve as bookends to hold the others upright. Use books as risers on tables. Place a small stack of 2 or 3 books on a side table or coffee table. Then put a lamp, small clock, or candlestick on top of the books. Change how many books are in the stack until you find the level you like best. Find large books to use as coffee table books. Look for large books like old atlases, almanacs, or textbooks and place these on tables as coffee table books. Put them on a large tray with a vase of flowers and an interesting object, like a vintage magnifying glass or compass. Pair books with the same color scheme. Stack or line up books that create a cohesive color scheme. For example, gather books that are varying shades of blue, or choose different browns for a neutral look. Or remove the covers to get all your books to have the same white or cream-colored spine. Change the color of books with paint or burlap. If you want all your books to match each other or your decor, brush the covers lightly with paint and then hang them up to dry. Or wrap them with burlap or wallpaper and glue the material to the inside of the cover. Match books to the theme of the room. Find vintage children's books to decorate a nursery, or place old gardening books in a sun room with lots of plants. If you have a room with a nautical theme, search for old seafaring books or vintage copies of Moby Dick or The Tempest. Bundle old pages with twine. Whether you have a book that's falling apart, or you just want one to look like it is, remove the book's cover. You can separate the pages completely, or leave them with the spine intact. Wrap some twine around it and display this little vintage package on a bookshelf, table, or windowsill. Tie the twine in a bow and add a dried flower on top for a more feminine decor style. Repurposing vintage books. Attach books to the wall to use as shelves. Drill a couple small holes near the edge of one flap of your book, and buy L brackets to attach the book to the wall as a shelf. Then place light objects on it like bud vases or small picture frames. Stack books to become a table. If you have a lot of old books, stack them into a column beside a couch or armchair to use as a side table. To make it sturdy, place the larger, heavier books at the bottom and work your way up to the lighter, smaller ones. If you don't plan to reuse them or read them later, you can glue the covers together to add more stability. Cut a hole in a book to make a planter. Hollow out a book by gluing the pages together, drilling a hole in each corner and using a box cutter to cut the center of the pages out. Pop a shallow plastic container inside to hold a plant, then place your book planter in a windowsill. Frame books on the wall. Hang an old paperback book on the wall by piercing the back several pages and back cover with thumbtacks. Surround the book with an oversized vintage-looking frame that has the glass removed. Group several of these framed books on the same wall for a bigger statement. Make a book wreath. Tear pages out of an old book and roll each one into a cone, gluing the edge so it will maintain this shape. Then glue each cone to a styrofoam wreath mold, working your way back to front. Hang the wreath on any wall where you want some literary flair. For a more elaborate wreath, you can roll the pages into other shapes, like rosettes. Use pages as wallpaper. Get an extra copy of a book you love and remove all the pages to use as wallpaper. Hold each page where you want it to go on the wall and paint over it with a craft glue like Mod Podge. Cover the entire wall, or just a select area over your desk or bed.